U.S. Army soldiers are currently fighting for their lives. Their defensive lines are in full swing, while infantry charges in the flanks. And their enemy is one of the deadliest we've seen yet, from the future. The Terminator Army has come from the future to destroy the past. If you guys do enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already, and comment down below what other battles you'd like to see in Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2. But either way, let's get into one of the most destructive battles we have ever seen in this battle simulator. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, for once, the U.S. Army is going to be on the back foot here, having a numeric advantage of 7 million troopers. However, they're going up against much stronger soldiers of the Terminators, who have 500,000 in total, including 500 of these railgun tanks. So it is going to be a doozy of a battle here. Let's go ahead and press start and watch as the M1A2 Abrams in the U.S. Army's front line begin their assault in a counterattack against the Terminators. And already you can see the railguns are hitting them and literally just tossing them around like they're made of cardboard. Holy cow, and the M1A2 Abrams only just start firing out, so their range is way worse than the Terminator railguns. That is insane. Okay, but they are getting good shots out against some of these T-800 Terminators, but as you can see, the Terminators, most of them, just get back up. They have so much health, they're able to just walk off a massive HE shell from an M1A2 Abrams. Absolutely absurd. So they begin their mass assault here, as does the U.S. Army. Like I said, there's 7 million U.S. Army soldiers, and pretty much like 6 million of them are on attack mode. So we're going to have these two armies clashing in the middle of this desert here. But then, back this way, in what I'm dubbing Area 51, we have a U.S. Army defense. What's up, gamers? I'm here to tell you about Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is an amazing place where you can get some fire deals on all sorts of video games. Seriously, it's like 60 to 95% off, as you can see here. These are all of the Star Wars titles they have. They literally have every Star Wars title. You can also get XCOM here, Men of War Assault Squad 2. All of the games I play on the channel you can buy here for extremely cheap prices. If you use my affiliate link in the description, it helps me out a ton. So thank you guys for listening to this sponsorship, and thank you to Instant Gaming for continuing to sponsor the channel. This is the defensive base for the U.S. Army. We have Apache helicopters, Sea Whizzes, missile systems, nuclear missile systems, as well as M249 machine guns and marksman snipers. There's about 1 million of those soldiers back here waiting for the Terminators to reach them. Of course, hopefully the Terminators don't reach them, but as you can see, already U.S. lines out front here are being eaten away by these metal machines. Absolutely absurd. So we do have the T-800s leading the charge for the Terminators, but then behind them is the T-831s, who are a little bit more heavily armored, and they have a little bit better firepower than the T-800s in the front lines here. So these guys will be coming in afterwards. I think they have lesser range than the T-800s, though, in Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2, so it will require them actually getting forward a little bit here. As you can see, the U.S. Army soldiers are just melting away as they get zapped to death by Terminator bullets. Look at this. They're just literally melting like butter as we go through these lines. Absolutely absurd. The M1A2 Abrams are pretty much all dead, it seems. There's a few over here still firing away. That's good to see. That explosive fire is going to be very necessary for the U.S. Army to maybe get a victory here. But again, that is a very big maybe. I'm actually surprised some of these are still firing away as much as they are. But then again, M1A2 Abrams do have a lot of armor in this game, so they're able to do some serious damage over time, because they're not just going to go down with one foul swoop. But just the sheer amount of firepower coming in from the Terminators is absolutely bonkers. Look at this. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Now, I have been getting a lot of requests to do Terminator battles, as well as some older, like, 80s movie stuff, because I tend to do newer, I guess, IPs in this game. You know, we did a lot of, you know, Demogorgons from Stranger Things recently, FNAF, etc., etc. However, people have been asking me to do, like, Alien vs. Predator stuff, as well as Terminator stuff, and then the other big one was people wanted me to do more Jurassic Park things with dinosaurs and things like that. So I thought all of those were really fun suggestions, but we're starting off with the Terminators, because these are always just so fun to watch. Absolutely insane. The railguns are still back here, basically acting as artillery for the Terminators, firing away, probably getting big splash damage on the enemies. Yeah, you can see some of those shots hitting all the way back here. They've got a huge range, and when they do hit, they just evaporate soldiers. They literally just pluck hundreds of them from the earth in an instant. And let's go ahead and see just how well the Terminators are doing right now. At the moment, the Terminators have killed, oh my god, they've killed 3.5 million U.S. Army soldiers. I know it says 2.7 million. I still haven't fixed the kill damage thing. Apparently there is a fix for it, but explosive damage doesn't always count as damage for a unit. So there's only 3.1 million U.S. Army soldiers remaining from the starting 7 million, so now they've killed 4 million of them. Oh my goodness. And the U.S. Army has killed 267,000 Terminators. So the Terminators are at about half strength now, but the U.S. Army forces, they're way below half strength. Look at that. They're at 2.6 million now. They are literally dying in droves here. They're getting annihilated on this battlefield. Holy cow. I think our only potential saving grace is the fact that the Terminators are going to have to start going through choke points back here. You can see more U.S. Army reinforcements flooding out of these little choke points and moving forward this way. But eventually, the Terminators will have to go through there. That's good. And the U.S. Army is going to have access to nuclear missile systems in the way back. Of course, Apache helicopters, Sea Whizzes, and missile systems. So hopefully these can manage to make a dent into the Terminator Army and put up an actual defense, because right now the defense through offense strategy that we've been seeing is not working in the slightest. The U.S. military is getting absolutely demolished here. We are now down to 2 million U.S. Army soldiers, and we have 219,000 Terminators left alive. The absurdity of it all. This is a sad day for humanity, to say the very least. They are getting absolutely clobbered. And I mean, it looks like the Terminator lines are very, very thin, and they kind of are, but it also just doesn't really matter that the Terminator lines are so thin, because they're able to just come forward and beat the living snot out of the U.S. Army troopers with just a few soldiers compared to thousands ahead of them. It's not a good sign. Not a good sign for the modern U.S. Army. I mean, how much health do these guys have? These ones have 22,000 health. And I think maybe we are down to 2831s being the only Terminators left alive, because that's all I'm seeing. So maybe the T-800s, which I think were in fact weaker, might all be dead. Unless there's some on like the wide flanks. These are all T831s. Yeah, I don't think any T-800s are left alive, so these are the harder boys to kill, and here we go. This little bridge defense that we're going to have going here for the modern U.S. Army starts to get fired upon, and they are immediately getting absolutely booty clapped. I'm not even seeing any dead Terminators on the ground over here as they flood onto this bridge system. We have a very, very large U.S. Army presence on the other side. Honey Badger soldiers over here ready to defend. They are getting shots off in the front lines, but those T-831s are coming through heavily, and those railguns also still firing. There we go. Missile systems beginning to fire from the U.S. Army backlines here. That's good. That is very good. Look at those missile systems firing away. We needed this. We needed this. Yes. Yes. I don't even know. Okay, killed a couple. Killed a few, but it's still not quite enough to like get a huge number of kills or anything like that. But hopefully more of those shots coming in will help out. Also, maybe the Apaches will start firing. Once the nuclear missile systems start to fire, I think we will see some major kills for the U.S. Army. Let's go ahead and do a nice little time lapse here overhead to watch, because this is going to be crazy watching the Terminators on the right coming into the defenses on the left with basically fire supporting both sides. There's the Sea Whizzes. Yes, wait. That's big that they can fire from there over here. Oh, that could be huge. The fact that the Terminators are just walking through Sea Whiz fire is absurd, but it did kill at least a few of them. Not many, but a few, so that's good. But yeah, getting Sea Whiz fire out here is very big. So we'll have supporting fire from Sea Whizzes, missile systems, Apaches, nuclear missile systems, and then railguns from the Terminators. We have 1.6 million U.S. Army soldiers remaining and 216,000 Terminators remaining. Let's watch. Alright guys, just a few minutes past there and we're down to 1.27 million US Army soldiers. Seems like they are dying slower now, and I think that's from the help of their Area 51 defenses back there. That's very, very helpful for them. The Sea Whizzes, they could be aiming a lot better, but at least they're firing. There's that. But we have 197,000 Terminators remaining, so the Terminators are taking a much bigger beating over here. That is very good to see. Also, this bridge over here, while the Terminators have captured the bridge itself, the fellas on the other side are managing to get so much fire out, the Terminators can't make it past this point. That's beautiful. Look at that. Brings a tear to my eyes. They're not even getting as far forward over here. That's what we like to see. Destroy these Terminator scum. Protect the past for a better future. Yeah. Okay, cringe. The Apaches over here, looks like a few of them have died already, but the rest of them are going strong. That's good to see. Missile systems aren't firing as much as I'd like them to be, but maybe they will start to really ramp it up soon. Sea Whizzes are doing a good job. The far left bridge over here, okay, this bridge is losing more soldiers than the far right bridge is. They're still getting some very decent kills here, which is good to see, but actually, the U.S. Army is about to pass, and it just did pass 1 million soldiers remaining. So they are down to their last million. Their last million soldiers, and there's still 190,000 Terminators. Again, the Terminators are still dying faster than they ever have on the battlefield here, but it's still not looking great for the U.S. Army. Look at these bodies of dead Terminators over this way. Beautiful, gorgeous, we love to see it. And look at that, now the missile systems are really firing away. The backline defenders are getting into the mix for the U.S. Army. Here are some of those M249 light machine guns firing away, more powerful than the standard assault riflemen that we were seeing earlier. There should also be like marksmen. Yeah, back here there are marksman riflemen. There's still a few attackers like pushing out for the U.S. Army over this way too. Oh, the Terminators are like in Area 51 now. Look at that, they're over here. But they are getting kind of chopped down by the Sea Whizzes as they try and enter, so that's good to see. But they are getting in here, which is not very nice. 870,000 remaining U.S. Army soldiers, 182,000 remaining Terminators. Let's watch them coming up this ramp and getting met by Sea Whiz fire, because this is pretty sweet. Okay, Terminators are slowing down over here, which is good sign for humanity, but they are coming in on this flank, which means that the boys holding the bridge over here now have to divert resources to hold these hills over here to not get outflanked too much by the oncoming Terminators. Now, they are somewhat keeping these guys at bay, but not fully. That's going to be a problem later on. The bridge over here is still holding really, really nicely, so this is a good kill zone against the Terminators this way. We like to see that. Look at the body piles of them building up there. It's gorgeous. Love it, love it, love it. Now, the other side, the other bridge, is still holding, but it's a lot thinner now. A much thinner line over there. And then all around the flanks of Area 51, we have troopers just kind of coming in. Look at that downed Apache. It just looks so sick. That is awesome. Missile system over here, all alone, trying to help out all of these infantrymen around it. But I think it might have just died, actually. Yeah, it did. Rip to that. The Apaches, I think... No, there's still some alive. Very nice. And missile systems over here are still alive, firing away. The nuclear missile systems over here, I'm not even sure if they're doing anything, to be honest. They don't fire... There we go. Finally, they fired. Beautiful. Good stuff, boys. Good stuff. Love to see that, but not the wealthiest of shots. I thought they'd be firing over this, but they're not really doing that. So, yeah. We have 550,000 U.S. Army soldiers remaining, so they really are surviving for a lot longer now, which is great. And we do have 155,000 Terminators left alive, so more of them are continuing to die. It's still very up in the air, I feel, as to who is going to win this thing outright. But I feel like new hope has been stoked for humanity. Let's watch the bridge overhead defense over here, along with that flank on the left, because this could change the course of the battle if this doesn't go super well. Well, things didn't end up going super well over here as the Terminators have beaten back these troopers. I think the flank really helped them out there because they were going to hold this bridge if the Terminators hadn't come through the flank over that way. So that is a dang shame, and I think the middle is kind of going to be our last hope. I'm just not sure if it will really last that long. Terminators already took out the nuclear missile systems. We have no more Sea Whizzes. The regular missile systems, a lot of them are dead. There are still a few Apaches there and standard troopers, but we are down to 14,000 remaining modern U.S. Army soldiers and 119,000 Terminators still alive. So the U.S. Army did take out nearly 400,000 Terminators, which I think is a pretty good defense considering they're literal Terminators. They go nuts. But even still, oh yeah, the far right is dead now. It's just the middle here. Even still, it's just not going to end up being enough for a W at the end of the day. Ripperonis. They tried their best. I mean, they came very, very close. The last like 100,000 Terminators they took out, they had very little chance of taking them out, and they still did. So I'm still impressed. Let's just kind of watch the ending here as Area 51 ends up falling. 10,600 remaining defenders and 119,000 remaining Terminators attacking. Somehow U.S. Army soldiers are still fighting in here. They're not getting a lot of kills. They are getting some, but it's just, I think, hard for the Terminators to actually take them down. And those Apaches, too, still fighting away. But, I mean, they will probably eventually go down here. Most of them are marksmen, actually, still alive. But at least we're seeing a bit of resistance from them. 3,800 U.S. Army soldiers remain. 116,000 Terminators still remain. Okay, so there's still 312 U.S. Army soldiers remaining, and I think this Apache helicopter is glitched, and I think the rest of them are glitched too. But we might as well let them keep fighting on, even though they're glitched, just to see what happens. Why not? Alright guys, it's been another 10 minutes and this thing is still alive. I think it is truly glitched, and it's not even getting any kills, really, so that's the end. The Terminators end up taking the W against the modern US Army, with one invincible Apache helicopter being all that remains. Well guys, I really do hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already, and comment down below any other Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2 video ideas you guys have in the future. I'd love to hear them. I do like doing fan requests and stuff like that because, well, it means I know what you guys actually want to see. I'm not just guessing. So, yeah, I appreciate y'all giving me suggestions in the comments, and have a great day. Peace! I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.